Peace, peace, peace. Checking in, man. It's your boy MD. Checking in for a quick pop up, man. Quick truck show, real quick. I got some things that, really disappointed me this morning. And, I felt like I needed to talk about this publicly so I could clear the air and find out what's really going on with what, right? Once somebody gets in the room, let me know that I can be heard, put a one in the chat, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. As you may know, I was supposed to premiere a uh a new series this weekend called Operation Exodus Mississippi series, and the first volume of that series was going to be dealing with reparations. Now, why is it going to be dealing with reparations? According to the 9-point plan that's in the introduction of most of, shouts out to Brother Talik Ibn Rod, affectionately known as Angel Snub Nub 7, Reality's Temple on Earth, right? We all know if any of you guys watch Reality's Temple on Earth videos, any of Angel Snub Nub 7 videos, he likes to do, he does his long ad stream before, he gets started on whatever topic he's discussing. On most, not all, but most of his live streams in the beginning, in his ad stream, he has the Operation Exodus Mississippi platform plan narrated by our brother Omar Shabazz from Shabazz Productions. Shabazz Productions has done some great documentaries. I've seen one. But yeah, the brother does great work. So narrated brother 9-point breakdown. I'm okay. All right, I'm back. My bad. I got a call. I got it on Do Not Disturb now, though. So back to what I was saying. The brother Omar Shabazz, shouts out to the brother Omar Shabazz. He does great work. He has a comprehensive 9-point program that instills the tenets of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is and how we can move forward once we get political power in the state. None of this can happen until we get political control of the state itself. Everybody understands that, right? Within the 9-point program, Omar Shabazz clearly states, point one, that the state can request. I don't know, the wording is off for me, and that's what we were going to be talking about this Saturday in volume 1 of the OEM series. He clearly states that point one is to request, quote unquote, reparations, not for an individual or to an entity, but to the state in order to gain the resources needed for the people. That's point one of the program. Now, my point of contention is and will always be that reparations is direct cash payments to the people that descend from slaves, the freedmen, right? That was going to be my whole discussion this weekend. And we were going to have a discussion on it, not necessarily a debate, but we were going to get clarity as to What defines reparations from a state level? Acts of atonement, reparative justice, right? And what constitutes the state having control of these resources and not it going directly to the people? Because in reparative justice, we understand that you're repairing a people. The state cannot repair you. Well, no, let me say that. Let me say that the right way. It's not up to the state to define what your reparative justice is. That's solely up to you. So how can you be control of a resource that's there to be the embodiment of reparative justice, and it's not controlled by the people that are supposed to be repairing themselves? That was going to be the discussion coming this Saturday. Now, the brother Talik, he hit me up this morning. And it wasn't even about OEM. It was about the conversation that we had yesterday on the arena on Champions Corner. And that was about the whole religion versus spirituality. You know, very minuscule, yet it's important to a lot of people. I get it. The argument that the brother Talik was making was that you cannot separate religion and spirituality based on the fact that religion is binding the culture, and the actual preemptive result is spirituality itself. I get it. I would disagree, because from a layman's perspective or description of what spirituality is, it's more or less due to whatever culture or whatever upbringing that may entail that's creating the spirituality. It's not necessarily religion. Like I said, again, that's when people say eat the meat, spit out the bones from a spiritual level, that's, I don't have to accept the main line or the mainstream idea of what that religion is, but I can take the values, I can take the tenets from said religion based off of how I lived, how my forefathers lived, how I was brought up. That's spirituality to me. But again, it's irrelevant at this point. So we started off with that conversation. What's up, GTO? So we started that conversation, and that got me up. We started talking about that. So I said, okay, that's cool, whatever. All of that is irrelevant. Let's push Operation Exodus Mississippi forward. That's what I strive to do. That's what I'm hoping to do. So from that conversation, then came another point of contention where we started talking about reparations. Now, again, I just explained that in the 9-point plan within Operation Exodus Mississippi, the first, not the 4th, not the 7th, not the 9th, the first point in the plan is to, like I said, quote unquote, request reparations, not to an individual, not to a entity within the state, but to the state itself, in order to provide resources and services for the people. I do not agree with that. I've always said, when me and Talik have a discussion talking about OEM or in general, this is where me and the brother Talik differ. I do not support a state reparations program in which you're not giving direct cash payments to the people that were directly affected to the institution that we call slavery. So as we having this conversation, he goes on to say that reparations is not part of Operation Exodus Mississippi. I'm like, whoa, hold up. I've been telling you for almost 2 weeks now that I had this series planned. You knew, that my first order was going to be reparations. That I mean, that's kind of my thing. You know what I mean? So it worked out good for me that reparations being the first point in the Operation Exodus Mississippi plan that we could talk about reparations and also discuss where we differ within what reparation is and how reparations should be distributed. That was going to be a great discussion. I was locked in. I can't wait to get home so I can start working on the presentation. All of a sudden, now reparations is not part of Operation Exodus Mississippi. According to Talib, reparations is a beggar's movement. So I said, okay, I got to stop it. I got to stop it. Reparations is a beggar's movement. Yet, you want to take over politically, of course, control of a state. You want the state to control the resources. You want the state to control the services. You want the state to basically handle and be an exemplary, not not even saying a liaison, but an exemplary authority over the people that you're trying to liberate. That's not liberation. So now I'm to the point now where I'm bringing into question your interpretation or your perception of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is. Are you truly trying to liberate a people, or are you trying to do the very thing that you scold others and bomb on and run down on for years now? And that's this whole blackity black land. The same thing that Lex was talking about the other night with black land, you're trying to do in Mississippi. You don't want real liberation because you don't understand real liberation affects those around them and their perception of what a nation is. There's no separation when it comes to Operation Exodus Mississippi. There's no succession. So what are we really doing here? You talk about you're not control of any water system, no rivers, no lakes. You don't have your own means of production. Nobody has their own means. No group of people have their own means of production. No one ethnic group has control of a landmass. Because we understand we're living in the order of capitalism. It don't work that way. So I'm going to be living in a particular area of the United States. People that directly are in tune with our political reality are going to be in control. But yet I don't have a means of virtue of my own in the state. That's socialism, man. So why don't you just call it what you think it is? Like what are we talking about at this point? Now I'm to the point where we have to debate. And like I said, you got a thing with points of contention. You try to stay away from anybody challenging your perception of any type of topic. And I find that problematic. But that's a different reality on its own. I just want to focus on OEM because I'm passionate about Operation Exodus Mississippi. And it's to the point now where the contradictions, the farces, the lack of any interpretation of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is, it's disparaging at this point. The other night when you was on the broadcast with the brother Talib, shouts out to the brother Talib, you specifically said you were looking forward to this series because this was going to be the nail in the coffin, the final description of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is. It wouldn't be any questions about the definition of Operation Exodus Mississippi. But now, you got me questioning the definition of Operation Exodus Mississippi. Because you just did the switcheroo of it. According to the plan, again, reparations would be requested to come to the state, not to an individual, not to an entity, but to the state. I have my issue with that, but yet we still understand reparations has some form or facet in the implementation of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is. Now you're saying that reparations has no implementation in Operation Exodus Mississippi. It's a beggars movement. So now we're gonna have to cut through that before we can go anywhere else. We just gonna have to do it. Let's bring some clarity. Let's bring a clear cut interpretation of this first point. Let alone all the rest of the points. We'll get there when we get there. Let's bring some clarity to the first point, because it's the first one. So did not the brother Omar Shabazz know what the hell he was talking about? Did he give his own interpretation of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is? To my knowledge, you have never given a clear-cut interpretation of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is. When someone asks you to do so, you always refer them back to the intro video. So if my only reference point is the 9-point plan video, I can only give assertions based off of that. But because I revere the brother Talik Ibn Ra and the contributions that he's made through the years of YouTube, I can say, okay, let me go to the horse's mouth and let's find out what's what. Hey, look, brother, I'm very passionate about Operation Exodus Mississippi. I want to be a part of it. Let's come together in conjunction with the arena and the reality temple on earth. Let's make a comprehensive video series based off the 9-point plan. This was always my goal. This is what I wanted to do. For years now, I've been wanting to do that. But I just never had the means, or let's just say never had the drive to do it, right? So now that I have the drive, now that I have the platform, shouts out to the arena, to do it, again, here comes the points of contention. And I knew this was going to happen, because I know how Brother Talik is. He'll say that he wants anybody to challenge his viewpoint, but when somebody gets up and challenges it, then it's an issue. I thought that this series was going to nip that in the bud, because I knew that we were going to have a discussion about the differences within the implementation of reparations. But I knew it was for a good cause, because ultimately it was going to bring forth clarification about OEM. But from your standoffness, right? I don't know the word, standoff mentality. Your direct result in trying to hold down a challenge from anybody, you're willing to contradict what Operation Exodus Mississippi is by now saying that reparations has nothing to do with Operation Exodus Mississippi. What type of shit is that? So here's my challenge to you, Tali. You also made a statement that the brothers over here at the arena don't frequent your channel, so why should you continue to frequent the arena? And that wasn't said in no hostility or nothing like that. I'm just breaking it out. So here's my challenge. I'm challenging all the brothers at the arena to get together, and yes, we'll come to the reality temple on earth, and let's have this discussion. because I can't do the OEM series without having clarification of what OEM is. I thought I had an interpretation, but now I'm not sure. So I'm requesting all the brothers at the arena, Brother Yanga, Brother Trevor, Black Sun, and anybody else who may feel like they want to get any clarification. Let's go to the reality's temple on earth. Let's go in as humble guests and get clarification on what Operation Exodus Mississippi is. Let's finally part this river so we can see what's on the other side. I'm totally willing to do that. But now here's the thing, Talik. Don't sidestep the points of contention. Don't sidestep the challenges within the ideology. You can't, like, bro, like at some point in time, you have to stand on a square. And again, this is no knock to you. I'm not disparaging any of the previous comments that you made. I always say I wouldn't be so invested in YouTube if it weren't for the reality temple on earth. But my issue, once again, you cannot two-step and spin move the points of contention. People are going to do that. That brings the clarity. So for the people's sake, let's bring the clarity. Let's go to the reality temple on earth. Invite all of us over and let's have a sit down. Let's have a sit down. And let's talk about what's what when it comes to Operation Exodus Mississippi. Finally. Again, you always say people that want to challenge Operation Exodus Mississippi don't look at the information that was already put out. I've looked at it for years now. I thought I had a clear understanding of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is, and now I question it today. And I'm a loyal follower of Reality Temple on Earth. You should know that. So you know that the thousands of videos that I watched that had Operation Exodus Mississippi 9-point plan in it, I've seen it thousands of times. And here I am today questioning my interpretation of Operation Exodus Mississippi. So again, let's have a sit down. Since you think we don't come to your channel, let's do it on your channel. Let's not have an authoritarian type discussion where you're ruling and we're not giving out interpretation or we're not asking questions for clarity. That don't make for a good discussion. But let's have a sit down. The OEM series cannot move forward until we have that. And I'm telling you, I'm disappointed because I was really looking forward to putting this together. Though I may still put it together, I don't feel that it's right doing it first without having you there. And like I said, I've been telling you about this. Now all of a sudden you're not available Saturday, but I'm not even worried about that. Secondly, you're questioning the very existence of the tenets of Operation Exodus Mississippi. Like I don't get that. So we're gonna have a sit down. We're gonna have to discuss this. Like something's gonna have to give at some point. So, and the link is out there. If you're watching now, hit the link. We can talk about it right now. Like I said, ultimately, we'll talk about it on your platform because it's the right thing to do. But if it's anything that you want to get off your chest now, let's do it. Again, this is not to disparage you in any type of way or downplay anything that you said previously. It's not. But the total confusion at this point is making me feel some type of way because I thought I had a grasp on what OEM is, and now I see that I don't. So I'm asking you to help me. Help me understand. That's all I'm asking. And you're going to have to help me understand with sources. You're not going to be able to just come up here and get on a soapbox and talk. That's not going to work. You're going to have to help me understand from a general perception of what political power is in your mind and source it up. Because based off of that discussion that we had this morning on Facebook Messenger, you want a socialistic state within the United States of America. That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. Everything that you talk about in all of your videos, blackity black, pro-black, back to Africa, black land. You want to do that here in the United States. And that ain't going to cut it, my brother. The walking contradiction. So I'm humbly requesting that we can set up a date and a time to come on to Reality's Temple. Not just me, but the brother Blackstone, Yang, and not through infighting, not through talking over each other, none of that. But let's get a clear cut understanding. Let's find out what's what. And like you said, you could be in error. I think you're in error on this point, but I think you're doing it out of trying to sidestep a position in which you know others have. You always knew the position of me. You always knew that I was a reparationist, but it never stood in the way of me fighting for Operation Exodus Mississippi. I still did that because I understand the end goal. But in an attempt to not take the position serious and try to define your own position as individual or not necessarily to say superior over mine, but independent of mine, you would flat out now say that reparations has nothing to do with Operation Exodus Mississippi. How does that make me look? I look like a damn fool pushing Operation Exodus Mississippi when people know that I'm a reparationist. And for then you to turn around and say, oh, reparations has nothing to do with Operation Exodus Mississippi. So that leaves my ass out in the wind, trying to come up with something else. Did you take any consideration of that? But it's cool. Like I said, we can have that discussion. I'm not even focused on the other side. Let's have a discussion to clarify what it is. At some point, you're not going to be able to moonwalk your way out of it, so to speak. And then continue to go on your channel and try to spew an independent interpretation of what Operation Exodus Mississippi is without any challenges. But I mean, it is what it is. What the hell? Boosie Badass, aka the petty bitch. Well, what's up with you? So again, you have to understand the position that leaves me in. It don't leave me in a good position at all. It makes me actually look like an idiot for pushing OEM, and now you're saying that reparations has nothing to do with OEM. So I got to give you pushback on that. I don't really have a choice. So if we're going to be sincere, if we're going to be honest, let's sit down. Not even here on the arena. Let's sit down on your channel because that will be the right thing to do. Let's sit down on your channel and have an in-depth discussion. And like I said, it don't have to be focused on reparations, on the totality of OEM. You know, we'll break it down point for point there, and then I can do my presentation. That way I know what to defend and what to challenge. Because at this point, reparations is a challenge. Like I mean, I thought you knew that by now. You know what I mean? I knew that you knew I was a reparationist, and you didn't look. I knew that you didn't look at reparations the same as I did, but at least you understood what role reparations played in Operation X in Mississippi. Now I don't know. And I knew you've always said some disparaging things about reparations, but you knew from the standpoint of from a state level, we're just talking about state, not talking about federal. From a state level, reparations would have some role within the act of atonement in the state. And again, when we talk about operations, let me give clarity for this. And I think we can at least agree on this. When we talk about Operation Exodus Mississippi, it's an ideology, it's a concept. Mississippi does not have to be the defining state. It can, in all actuality, be any one of the states within the South that we have a vast majority in. But Mississippi is the example because, first, that's the closest to get majority. And I mean, it's Mississippi. Like Mississippi has a, a predominant connotation when it comes to the aspect of our reality here in this country. But for the right of the brother Talik to try to sidestep a challenge, he'll say, "Oh, I never told anybody to move to Mississippi." Well, that's not the point, brother. You just don't want to have an argument. Well, you don't want to have what you would perceive to be an argument. You just want everybody to listen to you and shut the hell up. That's what it is. Let's keep it real. You didn't want to have an argument about reparations, so you would flat out say reparations has nothing to do with Operation Exodus Mississippi. Let's keep it real. I would I would believe that your position would be strong enough to oppose whatever challenge comes forth about the subject. But in order for you to not even talk about it, you'll just throw it out the window. I mean, at some point, we have to like be reasonable because it's other people listening, it's other people watching. They want to get clarity. How many years has it been where people have come to your platform or challenged your platform about the tenets of Operation Exodus Mississippi? Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just for the sake of challenging it, just because, or is it for let me understand what this is? I was like that when I was like that back in what 2014 when I first learned about Operation Exodus Mississippi. But listening to you, listening to Omar Shabazz, I said, okay, based off of this, I can agree Operation Exodus Mississippi is A, B, and C. Do I agree with A? No, not necessarily, but that'll be something that can be politically debated in the future. Let's worry about gaining political control first. I always came to that conclusion. I always said to myself, how can you say a people can be control of a resource, yet you want the state to be in control of said resource? I don't understand. I don't know how that makes sense. So it's not me that's being in control. Peace, Trevor. What's up, man? Let me see what you got. Oh shit, this is happening now. I'll be right back. Oh no. This is not the OEM series. No. At this point, the OEM series is postponed because again, like I said, like it's I had a discussion with the brother Talik earlier this morning, and it kind of got me feeling some kind of way because I was thinking that this was going to be a healthy discussion and it was going to be able to give clarity to the situation. Everybody doesn't know what the 9 points of Operation Exodus Mississippi are. I was going to bring that forth. When somebody asks you what Operation Exodus Mississippi is, you refer them back to the video. You feel like it's not deemed worthy of you to even speak on Operation Exodus Mississippi anymore. You just refer them to the video. I wanted to change that. I wanted to say, okay, let's give the people a detailed discussion, a detailed overview of Operation Exodus Mississippi. And you agree. I mean, hell, you had the wherewithal, you had the resources, you have the equipment, the technology to have been done, did this presentation. But I get it. No sweat. I want to be a part of it, so let me do it. But now it's reparations, they ain't got nothing to do with it. So what am I supposed to do? So again, I'm humbly requesting that you set up a time and a date for us to join Reality Simple on Earth. I would like to extend that offer to the brothers over here at the arena. We'll all sit on the panel. We'll shut the hell up. And we'll listen to your interpretation of Operation Exodus Mississippi. Then if we have any concerns, if we have any reasons to have a point of contention, you'll listen to those grievances. And then you'll counteract them with your own position. And at the end of it all, we'll have a clear-cut interpretation of what Operation Mississippi is. At that point, I could then come back and say, okay, I now know what the tenets of Operation Exodus Mississippi are. Here's what I believe should happen. And here's what I challenge based off of those tenets that the brother Talik gave us. And there shouldn't be no ill will toward that. And that you have the right to challenge anything that I said. But now that I know that in order for you to sidestep the situation, you'll just outright deny a tenet of Operation Exodus Mississippi is baffling to me. But it's all good. But it's all good. What you say, Guy Knoxon? But does she put in a link? Oh yeah, she put in the link to Reality's Temple, I believe. So yeah, I mean, that's why I'm standing with it right now. Like I said, I'm disappointed that you feel this way. I'm disappointed that you knew that my goal was to have this discussion on Saturday, and now you're saying, "Oh, I never committed to doing anything on Saturday." I bet you, if I said, "Okay, yeah, the hell with reparations," I bet you'll be on that panel then. But because it's a point of contention, because it's a challenge of your opinion, your basis of what OEM is, now it's a problem. I can't go for that, man. I love you as a brother. Always have. You my elder. I stood with you through some dark times. But come on, man, this is ridiculous at this point. I'm not understanding, how you're willing to contradict something that you stood on for years. She said, catch me up real quick so I don't have time to start the stream on. Oh, no, I was just saying. So this morning I had a discussion with Talik via Facebook. The original discussion was about yesterday on Champions Corner about the whole spirituality versus religious thing. We started talking about that. Of course we disagreed. But then we started to talk about, this OEM series. And I told him that, hey, look, you got a tendency to not like points of contention. You got a tendency not to like when you're challenged on a discussion point. I was just telling him, for the record, just letting you know, come Saturday, you will be challenged on this reparations discussion because we don't agree with each other. So from that point, he said, okay, why am I challenging you on reparations? I never said reparations is part of Operation Exodus Mississippi. And I'm like, what? But in his 9-point series, his 9-point video discussion Operation Exodus Mississippi, narrated by the brother Omar Shabazz, the first point in the 9-point program is reparations. So how are you now saying you never said reparations had anything to do with OEM, but it clearly says it in the intro video? So that gives me the side eye. You know what I mean? That leads me to believe that you're just saying that because you don't want to have a point of contention. You would rather just throw it away rather than talk about it. So that's where this, like I said, I just popped this video because it had me like, I ain't gonna front, I was heated after having that discussion with him. Because how am I supposed, again, Trevor, how am I supposed to look? Everybody knows I'm that reparations nigga, right? I'm pushing the platform of OEM, and you're not saying reparations ain't got nothing to do with OEM. How did that supposed to make me look? So yeah, I felt some type of way about it, and I just felt like I had to come on here and vent, and also challenge the brother. If it's to the point where it gets like this, where you can't have a discussion, and you come up with side arguments to get away from a point of contention, let's put it all on the table, and we'll do it on your platform because you say Trevor and Yang and Black Sun don't come to your channel. what was the point of you saying that? I don't know, but whatever. We'll do it on your channel. We'll come to the reality and do it. And like I said, we'll shut that. You put us on mute. You tell us what OEM is, and when you done, and then we'll talk. I feel like that's years that I've been putting OEM on the flag staff, and now I question what OEM is my damn self. Like what is that? I mean, I get what you're saying, Trevor. But here's the thing, and this is what I said earlier too. You stand on this square of reality. You try to take away anybody's position. You try to take away anybody's spirituality. You try to take away anybody's um political affiliation when it comes to anything that a white person has something to do with. Yet and still, you want us to go and create not. And like I said, I'm not saying you said anybody move anywhere. What I'm saying is the ideology in itself is taking a group of people, putting them in a land where not the people control it, but the state themselves, and you dictate, or the state, quote unquote, dictates how to implement those resources to the people. That's socialism. So the very conversation that we had the other night when Lex was on and you was on, where he was talking about the black land, you should have agreed. You should have agreed to every point Lex was making, because that's what you want. That's exactly what you want. Instead of it being called black land because you want to be different from everybody else, call it soul land. Reality is the basis of individualism, but you don't want to be an individual. Your reality can't be dictated by a group of people. It's yours. So I'm not going to allow the state to dictate my reality. The walking contradiction. So that's all I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not going to be on here for long. If don't nobody want to come up, that's cool. I'm going to end it. But I just had to come on and say that. Let's have a discussion. Let's go to the reality temple. I'm pretty sure Trevor will go. I'm pretty sure Yanga will go. Pretty sure Black Sun will go. Let's all go over there, man. Let's sit down at the round table and let's talk about it. Because last I checked, I'm the one pushing OEM. I've been doing it for quite a while now. So I believe that I reserve the right to know the true definition of it. You could at least, give me that. This year's soul liberation transformation. Let's transform this into an entity that could be solely identified and not have any individual interpretation on it. Let's do that. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you at this point. Like I said, I'm disappointed. I'm disheartened about the whole situation because I was looking forward. I was excited to do this OEM series. I really was. And the fact that you just told me what you just told me, it made me feel some type of way. And I was really hoping that we could discuss it, like one-on-one. But if you want to bring, all these other variables into it, that's cool. But I got to challenge you. At this point, I don't have a choice. It doesn't take any reverence that I have for the things that you did over the years. It doesn't. But you will be challenged on this issue. I mean, I just gotta let you know that. Especially when it comes to reparations. You already know you're gonna be challenged. So what you're gonna have to do is revisit the points of Operation Exodus Mississippi. And if you feel like that part needs to be revised, so be it. At least I know where I stand in terms of my level of importance when it comes to Operation Exodus Mississippi. You know? But yeah, I mean that's all I had, man. I felt like that needed to be said because, it was based off of how I look in terms of my reputation. Me being a champion for OEM, and now you're saying reparations ain't got nothing to do with OEM. I mean, I look like a damn fool at that point. So we'll see what happens. I'm humbly requesting that in 3/4 of a mile you put it out. You know what I mean? 17 south. I think it's the right thing to do. Say, okay, these brothers, they're sincere about this. Let's sit down and we're gonna talk about what OEM is. We're not gonna proselytize. We're not gonna opine on anything. We're gonna come with some sources, and we're gonna set something in stone. That's what I would believe that you would think is the right thing to do. But we'll see what happens. Go live over here and let us know y'all gonna have that. Yeah, I definitely do that. I'll do that. Once I hear something, I let it be known. I let it be known most definitely because right now that's of to me that's of the utmost importance because it's a reflection on my viewpoint. Hell, my reflection in total because it make me look like a contradiction and I don't want to look like no contradiction. So I need the clarity for my own personal well-being. I need the clarity. So that's what it is. I'm gonna stay on his ass about it until I get an answer. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it at this point because I need to know. But it is what it is. And yeah, we could definitely if it's a way to simulcast it or do whatever. But I think it's important. I think it's important to do it on his channel because he said that the people at the arena don't come to his channel. That made him sidestep the argument even more. So I don't want it to be no reason to sidestep anything at this point. That's why it's imperative that it's on his channel. It's imperative. Can't have it nowhere else. I don't mind it being simulcast or anything like that. But you're making excuses to not deal with it. That's the issue. You know what I mean? But again, I'm about to get ready to get off here. It just had me. I was disheartened about it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna front because again, I really was excited to deal with this topic and jump on it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's where we are now. That's where it stands. I'll be uh I'll be waiting on your response, brother Tali. Humbly, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not coming. I'm not coming with any smoke. I'm not coming. You know what I mean? I'm not coming with any heat on you. It's just like this is important to me. You know this is important to me. And for you to say what you said, that I mean, like I feel some type of way. So I'll be patiently waiting. Well, I ain't gonna even say I'll be impatiently waiting your response because I need to know it as soon as possible. So that's where it is right now. We'll see what's what. If you want to contact me personally, like I said, we talk on Messenger all the time. You know, so if you feel like, hey, brother, like like we could talk about no, because OEM was supposed to be something specific that was supposed to be given as an outreach to the people, and you're now trying to redefine what OEM is. People need to know that. So that's where it is right now. You know what I mean? That's just where it is. That doesn't take away from the way I view your channel, the way I view you personally. Don't take away from that. I'ma still consider myself a member of the temple. Always. But this issue right here, this got to be dealt with before I can move forward ideologically on anything. It's got to be dealt with. No choice. So again, I'll be waiting your response. Hopefully we can set this up as soon as possible. As soon as you have time, brother. I'm in this truck, man. I always got the time. As soon as you got time, please let me know, and we can get clarity on it, and then from there, I can move forward with my series. But yeah, with that, man, I'm gonna say peace, man. I ain't got nothing else to say on the matter. I don't know if anybody gonna jump on later on, but I'll be, I'm around. So yeah, with that, man, I'm gonna say peace, y'all.